Well, it certainly does. And they were spying on my campaign, and it went right up to the top. And everybody knows it, and now we're going to find out. You have Bull Durham, who's supposed to be the toughest. I've never met him, never spoke to him, but he's supposed to be the smartest and the best, and he works for Bill Barr, who's a great attorney general. We would maybe have ended this thing a lot sooner had he been there originally. But you have some people that are great people now, and patriotic people. They love our country. This was spying on my campaign, something that has never been done in the history of our country. This was an overthrow attempt at the presidency. They tried to overthrow the presidency. This is a disgrace. But I'm not surprised to see it. It's just starting to come up. I think this is nothing compared to what you'll see over the next couple of weeks.
These media outlets
people are sick. These people are sick. These people are sick. 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 People are sick.
Brother.
Good morning, everybody. How are we doing today?
Doing good. Doing good. How are you doing?
Oh, great, great. Kind of a bad day for me. It's 2 years ago today, my wife passed away, so kind of a bad anniversary, you know.
Oh, yeah. She was a good
Real
woman,
sweetheart.
Woodman. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I know when I first met you, you were real busy, or as far as time wise, and I'd catch you at the Legion when I could, when you had the time, and then it even got a little bit worse there for a couple of years, and then our journey began. But yeah, anniversary of that. God bless. You guys are good people, Woodman. You're my brother, and lots of great comments here. Sorry for your loss, Woodman. Prayers and hugs, and God bless. God bless Woodman. God bless
Well, thank you.
You and your family. Our
Thank you very
prayers are
much.
with you, brother. All of ours. So what have you been getting into today?
Oh, the
I know you
normal.
watched Trump. Tell everybody what Trump, and if you didn't get to watch it, Woodman actually saw more of it than I did. But what was he saying? What did you get out of it?
Well, it's pretty much the normal. He had those doctors on, the scientist type doctor people, to explain what was really going on and why we're doing it in the fashion that we are. Also, they're working on some kind of a stimulus package. It's not ironed out yet, but they are working on it. So, they're being very, very busy. And they're talking about $850 billion so far, for that. Let's see what else you got here. That plus, I got to watch local news here in Jackie Walorski explained how the funds were going to be trickled down. So that's reassuring for everybody.
So what are these this 850? Is that to help out the average person? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, gathering from the smaller businesses and the individuals. I
if
don't
you
know.
have a need, you put in the paperwork, and then they look at it, and then you might get it type thing. If you're a business owner type, you're going to file.
I believe
some
so,
paper.
but yeah, they didn't quite go over the whole entire process. Of course, they don't have time for that. But yeah, they are, and it's not ironed out yet, so they can't really, this is their goal. They finally have a number they can work with. Again, he was stressing the point about, no larger than 10 people in a gathering. What's the difference between 10 and 25? Not a whole lot, I guess, double the numbers, but, as long as you just stick with the plan, I know it's hard on people's lifestyles and so forth, but no more than 10 people at a gathering. So.
Gotcha. All right. I just took you
Yeah.
down a little bit in quality there. You froze up. But we heard you. We heard you. All right. So that's not much of a change, or they're talking about this. So if I remember correctly, under like Bush, after the he did a stimulus that one summer. I don't know if it was to get the economy moving. Remember, they threw around numbers, or like, we give every man, woman, and child, 100,000, and then it trickled down to end up being like 600 per person. If you were married, you got the 1,200 or something.
Yeah, I remember that.
But they were throwing around numbers of we give 100 grand per person or 20 grand, and it ended up being like 600 or 1,200.
Well, they had to make it sound good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reality is, yeah. Well, there's a difference between President Trump and the rest of the presidents we've had. So, as long as the Dems don't fight it, it'll
Not
work
everything
out.
adds up. I mean, I get it. I don't know, how much you can actually do from within inside of a system that's already screwed up and messed up from, 1871, basically. Anything to do with that is just, so I don't know if you still operate within inside of that realm, and then if you have plans on dumping a lot of it here soon, but seems like a lot of the same. I get it with some of the monies and the expenditures and, buyouts, bailouts, all that. So I'm also seeing evidence shows this director general of World Health Organization, the WHO, severely orchestrated or overstated the fatality rate of the coronavirus. So
Yeah.
that's, we can go over numbers all day long, and we're going to. So real quickly, I wanted to hit this point. So exclusive little article here from the Gateway Pundit, more accurate than CNN, New York Times, Washington Post, etc., so on and so forth, for a couple of years and counting. Exclusive evidence shows the director of the World Health Organization severely overstated the fatality rate. The controversial Ethiopian politician and director general of the World Health Organization, WHO, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, I can't say it, claimed in a press conference in earlier March that the fatality rate for the coronavirus was many multiples that of the fatality rate of the common flu. So this is just a straight false narrative from the get-go. While many people globally have built up the immunity to the seasonal flu strains, the COVID-19 is a new virus to which no one has immunity. That means more people are susceptible to infection, and some other suffer severe disease. Those that have things already, with already a weakened immune. They called San Francisco. It was one of the first ones to go on a 24-hour lockdown. Like right now, they're recommended to stay at home, self-quarantine. If you leave to go to the store quickly, get back, don't linger, don't hang outside. And it's like the whole city's on a 24-hour ban already. They're the first ones to move. Now we know that San Francisco's got a high rate of, gay men and whatnot. And so they're assuming their immune systems are already weakened up there, because of like AIDS and things. So that's probably why they did that. For the illusion or realness. I mean, and I don't deny that this is it's been around. I guess they're talking about, it's hitting humans for the first time. But so that statement that he put out, globally about 3.4 of the reported COVID-19 have died. By comparison, seasonal flu generally kills far fewer than 1%. So that statement right there is what just really set it off into panic. That just got shared from media sector to media sector, from fake news to fake news, and down to people's social media accounts that were at that point spreading it around. Because it's coming from these officials, these, CDC, NHL, New Human Order, or whatever they want to call it. So,
might as well call it that. I mean,
Debbie Ross, welcome to Tier 1 support.
All right. I forgot to mention that Trump also was really heavy on this. The economy, yes, it's going to go down down, 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 down. But he said it will recover, rebound, and recover like never seen before. And I'm sure they got a lot of things set up now to where we're going to be inter-country as opposed to using different countries for certain, manufacturing. Uh, I'm sure that's what's going to happen is we're going to finally bring all that stuff back here where we can all, work and build our own stuff and buy our own product, something that's not going to break in 90 days or, you get it home, your kid plays with a toy and all of a sudden, like, 2 days later, this thing broke or something. American-made products aren't like that, I'm honest.
No,
I'm honest.
you're right. I had a part-time job, at one point while I was in the service station in the North Chicago area, and I was actually working for Sony Electronics. And, I'm there for 4 or 5 months at this time, and all the digital cameras they had lined up from cheapest to most expensive in the glass case, and then we had camcorders from cheapest to most expensive. And by this point, I'm really well familiar with all the TVs, the different cameras. At that time, it was like 1.0 megapixel, 2.0. The best of the best was like 8, or 10, but it was really expensive. The point of this is a guy comes walking in one day with this, Sony bag, and he opens it, puts it on the counter, whips out this camcorder, and he's like, "Yeah, I want to get this fixed," and I paid like $1,800 for it, and I'm like, "This is freaking awesome." I mean, I was looking at it. It was metal. It had all kinds of buttons and all the different color ports and just everything on it. And I'm like, "Whoa!" And my manager, I call him on the headset. I'm like, "Oh, I need a manager," and he comes out. And he's like, "Oh, he knew the model, and he was really familiar." My manager, "This was a really good camera back in the day, and what's going on?" And it just blah blah blah. He's like, "Yeah, probably the heads. Honestly, they don't really do this anymore." And he just went on and told them about calling this number for repair, but and then he left. And I'm like, "Man, the stuff we have today ain't nothing." He's like, "Yeah, they really cheaped out in the 90s. It was like he had been there for so long." He said about the late 90s under Clinton that just everything became junk. Like, as a manager, he's telling me this, like everything that we got in went from, and he said it was the economy, the whole, he actually brought it back then, and this NAFTA thing, and that they were starting to do, well, by the end of the 90s, 'cause that really didn't take effect, for Bill Clinton's era when he made all these deals. It didn't hurt America for, maybe like 2 presidents. We're still feeling the effects, let's put it that way. It was just interesting. He's like, everything went to junk. People, if you drop these camcorders now, they hit the ground, they boom into a million pieces of plastic, and you even know not to call tech support or repair. You're just like, "Oh my gosh, I demolished it," and you'll throw it away. And for the $200 to $300, you'll just go and get a new one, brand new one, better than technology wise or the chip, but not maybe the housing. But so. That's my bit on that. Things got really cheap in the country. You're making the good point of it. You go to Walmart nowadays, and 90% of the stuff was China made. If you drop it, if the kid's playing with it, it's broke. And it's so cheap, though, sometimes you're just like, I'll go buy another one and be a little more careful. And sometimes that works. But it would be better to have the legacy item back in hand, the thing you buy one time and it lasts for generations.
A lot of the musicians, still like to play with tubed amplifiers because now these are old, but they work so good. And guess what? American made. Imagine that. Like our vehicles back when they were American made. I have a 72 pickup truck, a GMC, and
built to last.
It's in 10 times better shape than my car. Point made, come on now. That's going to be the positive side of it. We're going to be actually get products for a while because it's going to be made here in the United States. We don't make junk, We leave that to somebody else.
What's going on? I'm so happy about Google. Now, I did see something yesterday about Google has been unleashed or something. Something's going on, and I was kind of following along with the person over on Twitter, and it was like, go search this. Like they had a thread up, so I'm reading through the thread, and it took you through several steps, and just go tweet this on Google and hit images and do an image search, and look what's popping up nowadays. Like a switch, yes, adrenochrome. Yeah, go Google that now and see what comes up. Go Google Pizzagate. Go Google some of these hot topics we've been going over, and it's they've always been banned and not promoted, and you'd have to dig a little deeper and deeper. Not anymore. Something's definitely happened
Yep.
for the good.
Oh, I can't wait till November, man. I'll be so much better.
So Kid Rock's Nashville bar refuses to close during the Wuhan flu upheaval. Owner declares mayor's mandate unconstitutional. And Epstein's fashion mogul office raided by feds after sex trafficking allegations. So this seems still to be moving forward with lots of, interesting people.
Yeah, like Oprah. I don't know what that deal is either. Talking about caves, and tunnels, and whatever. And
Somebody said that she didn't own the house anymore. If you look it up, it's been sold. It was already sold. So I don't know if it was bought or sold. So yeah, she sold it to a corporation or a company or something. I don't know if they were trying to sell it, but that's all I was able to get really. I mean, there was a couple of raw videos out yesterday saying more so, but what I really dug in and all I can find was, yeah, this place had red tape. Red tape typically indicates gas or something, digging in that area of Florida, Boca Raton. So I don't know.
huh?
So we will.
I don't either.
I'll keep looking and digging on that one. Let me see here. So yeah, this last month, the FBI and the NYPD raided the offices of the fashion mogul Peter Nygaard in Manhattan, taking away several boxes in which was widely speculated to be part of an investigation into accusations of sex trafficking by a multi-millionaire. So Nygaard, who's being compared to Jeffrey Epstein, is being accused of decades-long sex trafficking scheme by 10 unnamed women in a federal lawsuit. The allegations are stomach churning, including rape, sodomy, and perverted fetishes. Like Epstein, Nygaard apparently was known for throwing lavish parties on his Bohemian Island mansion estate, where he would pamper women with alcohol and drugs. At least 4 of the women allege that they were sexually assaulted by Nygaard when they were 14 and 15. Also, like Epstein, he was continued to face sexual misconduct charges and allegations of pedophile for just decades, folks. Decades. Just like we're going to find out about De Niro. Same thing. Guy's been really loud. It's been in the public. I've been exposing that to several people lately on social media. It's been here, folks. Nobody cared. Nobody paid attention. That's all. That's all it was. You can go back. I can even recount my own awakening to like De Niro without knowing it until just years ago. But it's been there. Like I read articles back in 97, 2000. Things were hit the paper, little tidbits. But in the late 90s or early 2000s, the big one was this huge thing overseas went down, and they had brought in De Niro's name that he was a regular, that had leaked out that he was a regular part of this overseas prostitution club that he would venture to when he was shooting films, and was just a regular client, and they had ties to the children. But you wouldn't put the connection there. You're like, nah, he was going there for prostitutes. How unfortunate that this kind of red light district off limits place that he was visiting had ties to this. How misfortunate. But maybe it's a little bit more sinister than what we know. That's why that guy's flipping out and loud and, just comes out like an idiot and just F Trump, because that's all he's got. That's all. That's all. What else you got? You know.
Yeah.
Just be careful, folks. When you talk to your I got a tickle in my throat. I really do. Uh-oh.
Coronavirus.
I was screaming.
Quarantine.
When you talk to people, you might have had this conversation, even yourself, Woodman, with people. You know, we need less government or something. People are like, well, who's going to do the roads, Woodman? In so little words, when people flip things on you, or if you're like, we don't need so much police and a police state. And it's like, well, I kind of like the protection. What they're telling you is they don't know how to protect themselves. Or when you talk about, we need less government, and they're like, well, who's going to do the roads? Well, I've never seen a government official out in front of my house doing the road. I've seen the local concrete companies or the, Reith and Riley's and these, you don't, well, they orchestrate it, they take the money from the taxpayer and then the government hands it and then they take some and give it to them people. And where's a lot of the rest of it go? Like, do we need the middleman to handle our money to get the roads done? I'm just saying, folks, people like that are so much so telling you that they don't know how to protect themselves. They wouldn't know how to get a road done without the babysitter, I guess. Stay away from those people. And so many words without telling you that I'm scared and I don't know how to protect myself, so I need the police. I don't know what you're talking about, trying to get rid of so many. And I'm not saying we need to get rid of the police. I actually, I think that we do need police. I don't know about how much, and I know there's abuses, and that's in any field. But if we can get everything fixed, there's always going to be laws of the land, folks. And there's always going to be people that try to walk that line or break it. Right, Woodman?
Yep. Always going to be a rotten apple in the bunch somewhere, man.
Ooh, thank you.
Always, always, always.
EO2 Dave, thank you for the super chat.
Well, all right, brother. All right. Yeah, I liked the video before you put this one out, Mike. That was rather interesting. I hope people got to see that. If not, when we get down here, go back and check it out.
Yeah, I can maybe play. I want to play that opening little section there. Hold on here. Now, that gets echoey for you, Woodman?
No, I don't. It's no echo. Oh, for me it is.
Okay.
Big time.
Yeah, I just turned it off. I'm just playing around. I just want to. All right.
Rocco.
You can still hear it right now?
Nope.
All right. I can. But it's gone now. All right, just playing with that a little bit. Yeah, for some reason I haven't got that figured out yet. Either I can do it all alone, but if you're on and I have the thing on so they can hear it and you can hear it, then it makes it echoey for you. And that's something I needed to, we'll have to do a little bit more testing offline. Taking everything down like I did and bringing it back up and then moving some things around, some ports, some boards. Yeah, I'm a little off still. I'm getting a little tick in this machine as far as ever since I added the Stream Deck with this other software. And then in that software, it talks about a microphone tick that you might get. And then to do this, and I got to look into it a little more. So, but everything's fine on the most part. So,
all right.
Again, thank you, EO2 Dave, for the super chat. Thank all of you guys for the super chats and contributions. We need to keep moving forward on the shirts. I know we need to. I know with everything going on too, it could put a little delay into things, folks.
Yeah, I think so too. Wait till the smoke. Wait till the smoke clears. You know, we can't control this, everybody. You all know that. You know. But,
yeah, we.
It's not over.
Yeah, no, it's.
Yeah. We're not going anywhere.
We're getting some reports, fake news, the main person that put it out, evidence is showing the fatality rate of the coronavirus was based on current data available of known positive cases and known deaths. Oftentimes, estimates have been made because data is just not yet available. The director general of the World Health Organization used the fatality rate of the coronavirus with known numbers and used this as a prediction of eventual mortality rate. That was a faulty assumption. That's
Yep.
clear.
Yep. Number too high.
Check your chat. All right, we're looking.
My back's on fire today. Whew, man.
What's going on? You got a little. My back's hurting too, brother. Down. It's actually.
Oh, if you see my MRI, you'd always understand. If you ever see my MRI, you go, yeah, all right. You're in pain all the time. Yeah, pretty much I am. Some days are worse than others, It's all right. I got God on my side, Hot Rod. We're all right, man. We're good to go.
That's right.
GG. Good to go, man.
Now, we got all-time... this is hilarious. Sales of guns have just... and ammunition have skyrocketed. Of course, that always happens during these... doesn't it, Woodman?
Ammunition's already gone. They're probably going through a second wave now.
Sales of guns. Yeah, it happens. People start wanting to, not only stock up on bread and water and TP, but some lead. Sales of guns, ammunition, and survival gear are skyrocketing this week, and concerns that the coronavirus could lead to a breakdown in civil order or even a suspension of weapons sales. Stores are specializing in sales of survival gear like ready-to-eat meals, guns, and ammo, and are experiencing a boom. And some retailers are even struggling to keep such items in stock. We're bringing pallets of MREs up and all the time, and even our supplier in Southern California is having trouble keeping them in stock. One California gun retailer told a local television station. It is clear our customers want to be prepared in the worst case scenarios. Another retailer told the NRA's news service per BI, for a lot of our families, a disaster plan includes having ammo on hand. In some cases, retailers are saying that they're selling twice as much or even 5 times as much ammunition as they were before the coronavirus began making headlines. Sales on ammo.com, an online ammunition store, were 68% greater from February 23rd to March 4th than they were the preceding 11 days, the company has said in a press release. Residents in North Kakalaki in Georgia had the biggest increase in sales on the website. So that's
I feel sorry for people living in the city because they're going to be the ones, because city folks don't know how to deal with things like this. You got to feel sorry
city
for them.
slickers.
Yeah, because they're nothing but people on top of people on top of people, and that's just too much to replenish. And so they're going to be scooting out of the towns and looking for an easy meal somewhere. Hope it doesn't get that bad, but I sure could.
No, I agree. So I think even I've been seeing people like that were anti-gun, wanting guns, like, yeah, just take them. Now they're actually in line. And then if you look into their socials, this is how persuasive they are. Like, well, this is a time when you need one. But it's like, well, yeah, that's what we were saying the whole time. Like, get one. It's a tool. It's like a hammer. When you need it, use it, And it's like you almost made it to the point where you couldn't have went and got one. That's how little these people think. These people that, if Trump wins back in 2016, there's going to be rioting and looting and rioting and cars caught on fire and windows broken in at stores and things are looted. They told you that. It was like a prediction. But then if you went to the rallies or these areas where, these things were happening and you ripped off the black mask, you would see that same person that sat there and told you that. And you're like, holy shit. You said all this was going to happen. I didn't know you were actually going to be the one out here doing it. And that's what they failed to tell you.
He was in charge. He knew what he was talking about.
Yeah. If he wins, I'm going to go out and I'm going to riot and I'm going to do this stuff. That's what he should have said, but they didn't put it that way. Words matter.
My people with me. Yeah, and I'm bringing my people with me.
Yeah.
Chaos.
Chaos. Super sale. Sunday.
Yeah, brother.
Ooh, yeah. All right, we'll look at some comments here in a minute. Still no phone. I got to get one more piece of software I keep forgetting about until after we're going, and I'm thinking I could maybe, it'd just be a disaster if I didn't, so I have to get one more piece of software. That's the one that allows me to block the beeps so we don't get the continuous beeping, call waiting. All right, so let's check this little statement out. From Flynn's lawyer from just a few days ago.
It's a good one.
And I'll just, I guess I can go to the actual, my source file here and go to this one. All right, well, we're going to check this out. I'll bring Mean Woodman up on top of it. Let me see here.
Okay, now for our final speaker of this National Leadership Seminar. Sidney Powell has practiced law for many years, primarily in the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. She has been lead counsel in more than 500 federal appeals, 350 of them.
All these issues, and that was a very, very sad thing for me. So it was extremely emotional to write the book, and I wrote it because in that way of telling a story, because I wanted people to feel the toll that a wrongful criminal conviction takes on everyone in the process. It is outrageous. It is devastating. And if you have not been in the unfortunate position of having the entire might and weight of the United States Department of Justice focused against you to literally crush you, you cannot begin to comprehend what it's like for those who are. And I would venture to guess that approximately 5% of our current prison population, state and federal, is completely innocent. And another 5% at least is or was the subject of a trial so unfair and judges so prejudiced that you can't tell if they were rightly convicted or not. That is a serious problem. In this country, we should not have one innocent person in prison. Mr. Arnn and I were talking earlier at lunch about the whole separate topic of prison reform, which we need every bit as much as we need reform in the Department of Justice. But I will start by saying that I think the first way to fix justice right now is to drop the charges against Lieutenant General Michael Flynn. And we are in the process of trying to convince the Department of Justice to do that right now. The especially good news is that Attorney General Barr has assigned Mr. Jensen, the United States Attorney in Missouri, to take a look at the case. I'm not sure exactly what his role is. I understand he will not be appearing on the pleadings, and I wouldn't expect him to. But hopefully he's going to take a fresh and independent look at all the motions that we have filed since I came in the case, because we have outlined an atrocious series of injustices that should offend everyone in the country. They literally made up the charges against General Flynn, and the case against him exemplifies everything that is wrong now with our criminal justice system. We have prosecutors in the Department of Justice and across the United States Attorney's offices that have determined they can weaponize our system of justice to prosecute people for political reasons. They are expert at making up crimes, and they have become more expert, along with FBI agents, with making up facts to go with those crimes. That's exactly what we've seen in the case against General Flynn. There really is no case. He was honest with the agents. We learned with material the government did give us that the agents said they thought his demeanor was sure. He was being perfectly forthright with them, although he didn't remember some things. And they left that interview with him on January 24th in the White House, by which they ambushed him, by the way. You know, Mr. McCabe told him, oh, you don't need counsel. There's no reason for that, really, and led him to believe that it was an entirely different scenario. After I got in the case, we found out that they had even schemed and planned to interview him in such a way that he would not realize he was even being investigated. Because he was National Security Advisor, they didn't want to ruffle any feathers and leave with any sort of animosity coming from him that he was being investigated. So they planned. They had a series of meetings at the highest levels of the FBI to decide how and when to interview him in such a way that he would not even realize he was the subject of the interview, much less being advised of his rights, which of course they didn't do because they didn't want to tip him off in the slightest way that they were investigating him. And since he's worked with FBI agents for any number of years in his career, he saw them as allies, and they even remarked about his young children and family. Few people were
I'm skipping a little bit.
Flynn Fund,
Thank you for your presentation. I'm remembering during Justice Kavanaugh's hearings, Senator Blumenthal from Connecticut introduced the Latin phrase that refers to a witness who is untruthful on one matter may be taken as untruthful on other matters. Is there a similar phrase for prosecutors who exhibit misconduct in one matter and what we should expect in other matters?
Good question.
I just call them liars and snakes.
How true.
I see a hand back there.
Question on the speaker's right.
Okay.
Thank you for your remarks, and God bless you, and I hope you succeed.
Thank you. We will.
I have a question regarding Attorney General Sessions. Where was he all those years that he was in office? It seems to me a lot of corruption was going on right under his nose. Why didn't he speak up?
Well, I think Attorney General Sessions is a good person, but he was not equipped to do that job. He allowed the career prosecutors, some of whom have recently left the department, to persuade him that it would be an ethical violation for him to continue just because he'd shaken hands with Ambassador Kislyak in a pass-through social situation, I think it was. That was ridiculous. He should not have recused. If he was going to recuse, I think at the very least he should have told the president he felt that way before he took the job, because it's essentially left us in the quagmire we've been in with the Mueller investigation. Of course, I also blame Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein, who apparently just completely fell apart at the thought of it all, and that's why he punted to special counsel. Either that or he was completely in on it. But none of it was right. There should never have been a special counsel appointed. There was no investigatory validity to hand off to a special counsel. They knew that. And the reason we have the prosecution of General Flynn, I'm convinced, is to maintain the obstruction hoax to allow it to go forward for 2 years. Because Mueller knew within a day or two. There was no Russia collusion. The FBI had already been investigating it and trying to create it for 6 months and hadn't even been able to do that. But when Comey went to the White House on February 14th, which was the day after General Flynn left, he had that conversation with the president in which the president said, well, I hope you can see to let this thing go. Flynn's a really good guy. And then Comey runs out and creates one of his famous Dear Diary memos and says, that's obstruction of justice. And he starts, breeding the whole obstruction of justice theory, when what he should have told the president before February 14th even was that they had investigated Flynn and cleared him of everything. The agents believed he was telling the truth. There were no lies in the January 24th meeting. And they had written a memo to DOJ on the 30th of January that he was not an agent of Russia, which was a ridiculous assertion in the first place. What they also failed to mention and will not give me are his briefings and debriefings with the Defense Intelligence Agency, for whom he continued to work as a citizen after he left the agency. He briefed and debriefed and collected information for our government when he went to Russia and gave it to them. They knew about every foreign contact he had because he was keeping them informed of it. He kept his security clearance. It's just mind-boggling that they've gotten by with this long. Absolutely mind-boggling and terrifying, because there, but for the grace of God, goes any one of us.
With Attorney General Barr now in charge, would you comment on the decision to not prosecute Andrew McCabe?
Yes, the McCabe issue. I read the declination on McCabe. It's a very narrow issue. They've only declined to prosecute him on the statements about his leaks to the Wall Street Journal. I am okay with that because I think they are looking at McCabe with a much bigger fish to fry. And I have heard that there are 2 sealed indictments waiting in the wings. I'm not sure what they're waiting for. At first, I would have assumed that they were definitely waiting for the impeachment, the ridiculous impeachment issue to be over. But I'm not sure now what the answer to that might be, other than maybe some people are trying to make a deal. But I think we will see some indictments within the next few months of the people who really need to be indicted.
We have a question on the speakers.
I want to get a
Right.
picture of this.
I have a 2-part question, Sydney. The first one is, where's John Durham's report, number 1? And number 2 is there such a thing in the law as res ipso facto? And the reason I mentioned that, when Hillary took her server to her private residence, that's res ipso facto, if I remember the old expression. Is there such a thing anymore?
Yes, it's actually res ipsa loquitur. The thing speaks for itself. What happened was the double standard is what happened. I wrote an article for the New York Observer ages ago called The Countless Crimes of Hillary Clinton that went viral. I think Rush might have even read it online, on air. There are probably things she could still be indicted for, and frankly, I think should, because the Espionage Act.
Applause.
Very clear violations of the Espionage Act, and really no issue about intent, despite President Obama proclaiming otherwise. And of course, you realize the reason that Hillary had to be protected was because he was writing her on that secret server using an alias, which shows that he damn well knew and had approved in advance her use of the secret unsecured server. On top of that, there's the Anthony Weiner laptop, which I don't know if you heard this. I wrote an article about that too. 675,000 Clinton emails when they got Anthony Weiner's laptop in a search warrant because of all his sex perversion issues. It was all the Clinton emails, the Clinton Foundation, her Secretary of State emails. Huma Abedin's emails. Lots of people emailed Huma as a proxy for Hillary, and it included what Comey called the sorry, I must wave my hands more than most people. The golden emails, because they were the BlackBerry backup emails that they were supposedly just looking for everywhere very diligently. Well, guess what they did when they found them on the Wiener laptop? They got a search warrant for things that didn't include the BlackBerry backup emails. So when they told us, when he stood there and said that day, oh, you know, we've reviewed all the emails now, there's nothing there, that was a bald-faced lie. They specifically did not look at the BlackBerry backups, and they didn't look at a fraction of the emails on Anthony Weiner's laptop. So one of the things, if I were the president, I'd do is demand the Anthony Weiner laptop and get it to the most trusted person in the military to take apart everything on it and then start using it. There's a lot that can be prosecuted, I have no doubt, on that laptop. In fact, I heard that the New York police officers who saw some of it, even though they're hardened investigators, literally had to go throw up. It's bad.
Question to the speaker's left.
Sydney, I think I speak for everybody in this room in saying thank you for your courage. Thank you for being a great, great, great American and your perseverance in doing what you do and being who you are. With that being said, from the previous speaker, I think we need to get Nick back in here because there's plenty of movie material right here. We can make movies for a long time about this. I also want to thank you for a conversation I had with Matt Whitaker about 5 months ago. And the deep state word came up, or the hyphenated word. And he said, you know, I just can't tell you a lot of things, but I can tell you one thing. Every day you should thank God that Donald J. Trump is your president. And I want to say this to everybody in this room. Go out of here and convince somebody who wasn't going to vote for him to vote for him. Our country is at stake. This is not a game. And last but not least, my question for you is, can you help us understand how this happens that these people are so obviously criminal, and it just gets blown over, it just gets passed over. They never get prosecuted. And do they think we're that stupid out here? Thank you again.
They've had so much power and gotten by with it for so long, and they're so narcissistic. Their hubris is just beyond bounds. They can't even fathom. I mean, Comey, I don't know what to say about Comey. I mean, really, I mean, the man is so full of himself and unfounded self-righteousness and hubris. He thinks he's untouchable and has done nothing wrong when he had almost destroyed the entire FBI single-handedly. Its reputation, it will take years to recover. It's got to be rebuilt from the ground up because it's really 20 years at least of that attitude. Mueller had it and Comey had it, and that covers 16 years or more. So it's got to be rebuilt from the ground up and people trained to restore fidelity, bravery, and integrity. The key word there being integrity. Because if our law enforcement agents and agencies are not completely honest, we are lost.
I'm a ditto head, so I'm going to ditto what the fellow over here said.
Thank you.
But I'm also a grandma, great-grandma from Ohio. I've listened to Rush since he came on the air, and I learned a lot. One of the things is that common sense has died in this country. Everything you said is just common sense. It makes me sick to listen to the news anymore, and listening to you really makes me want to throw up.
Yeah, I think that's why they saved me for the last. They didn't want you.
No, I did not recognize your name, but the minute you opened your mouth, I recognized your voice because I've heard you many times on the radio. And every
Somebody
time,
says I have an accent.
whatever it is, every time I hear your voice, I think, oh, this is going to be good. I think you have such good comments on the radio, and your speech today was one of the most powerful I've ever heard. So I have no question except advice. Take care of yourself, dear girl.
Thank you.
We need people like you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Amen.
Would you comment on Roger Stone's fiasco?
I have not read the transcript in the Roger Stone case. So I really can't comment on the validity of the case. I can tell you that they rushed to indict him. I can certainly tell you that the way they arrested him is an egregious abuse of power. Absolutely appalling. The same thing they did to Paul Manafort. They literally, went into his house in the dark of night with his family and wife sleeping in the bed. They searched his wife at gunpoint in their bed in her nightgown. I mean, can you men even imagine that happening in your homes and having to lay there powerless and watch as FBI agents searched your wife in her nightgown in the bed? It was egregious. And they should be punished just for that. I mean, the director of the FBI can certainly set a policy, and he is responsible for that because those FBI agents were still under his authority. He's on TV complaining about how they don't have money because, if you'll recall, it happened during the government shutdown. But that didn't stop them from sending 16 vehicles, a boat, frogmen, and a helicopter to go get Roger Stone, who would have walked in the next morning with his sunglasses and hat on and surrendered. The 4 prosecutors that resigned haven't resigned far enough. Only one of them is leaving the department. The others are still part of the department or a U.S. Attorney's office. There are still any number of Mueller people in the department and in the FBI. Probably every FBI agent that was involved in that needs to be scrutinized carefully and assigned to help improve things in Alaska or an Indian reservation or something like that. They all, well, Christopher Wray admitted the other day in his testimony that every agent who's mentioned in the Inspector General's 475-page report on the FISA abuses is under investigation.
We have time for one more question.
Will those chuckleheads see jail time? And how much?
Yeah, I think some will see jail time. I think the ones at the top will see jail time. I'm not a big proponent of lengthy jail sentences for white-collar crime, but I think there is a certain benefit to having that experience for at least long enough to make you realize it's real. And then, for example, I was talking to Mr. Arnn about Madoff. I would have sent Madoff to prison for maybe a year, and then I would have put him on an ankle bracelet and made him live in Section 8 housing and work 12 hours a day in a soup kitchen. You know, he's not dangerous to society as long as you don't let him near a computer or give him any money. But instead of us paying $40,000 a year in tax dollars to keep him in federal prison, he could be out doing something to serve somebody else. And I would think, you know, the same thing would be true for Hillary Clinton and other people that may be in the scope.
There you go.
Amen. Good points made.
Thank you all so much for everything. The hospitality's been wonderful. It's been my honor to be here, and thank you for your prayers.
All right, you guys can check that out in full, and I highly suggest you do this a little over an hour worth. We just, 10 minutes there, 20, 15 minutes of it, if that.
Yeah.
That is in full. I already put the link down below while we were watching it, so it's there. It's the very last thing down in the description box down below.
She's a hero. She is.
Yeah, and sitting there talking about just some raw facts. I mean, now the other thing is people will think, well, yeah, nothing's going to happen to these people because they're talking, and we've been talking about this for 3 years. Folks, there was just a lot of things that had to happen, a lot of bureaucratic red tape that needed to be, and everything needed to be very, very legit the whole way.
Yeah.
Trust us. Trust
You
us.
can't fire you can't fire a federal employee. Remember that guy in the bar?
It's impossible to fire a federal employee.
Wake up, people! They're gonna wake up.
That
I like the way she.
Yeah. The way she came across on all that information, she. Good job, Miss
Very
Powell.
good. Man, to have those people throw up, wow, that's got to be something to watch. Holy cow. I'm glad I didn't see it. I didn't want to hear about it.
Lynn Lamett says, what's so special about white-collar criminals? Should have been hung. I don't know. I mean, people that go into a bank with a gun and shove it into the face of the teller don't get hung, mostly. So that's always been in consideration, the way people get money. He's duped a lot of people that already had a lot of money that were willing to give it to him. Like, hey, here's $5 million, play with it. And then that guy that gave $5 million, it wasn't much more than like $5 to him, but he gave it to Bernie, and Bernie stole it from him. He was able to get people to give him a lot of money without a gun, like not in a violent way. So he duped them. He did a Ponzi scheme or whatever the hell it was. So I'm not saying he's an innocent man. Bernie made off with my money. That's his name's Bernie Madoff. Bernie made off with your money. Just her point was good. We do this. This is our system. These people that do what he did, they get thrown for 40 years into the federal, and we're paying 40, 50, 60 grand a year per prisoner. Let's put them in for a year or two, which they hate, but more so, like she said, put them in a soup kitchen, serving soup to the homeless or something, and pay them $8 an hour, and you make them do that because it's part of his probation for 25 years. I don't know. And everyone's like, no, he's a, I don't know. I think maybe cage up people. I don't think drug abusers should be caged up either. Maybe I'm wrong on that one to a lot of you. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, cops come down an alley. They see the guy with the needle hanging out of his arm. He's passed out, needle hanging out, heroin. And they grab him and they throw him in the car. They book him up. And these are the people that are in for 10 years. Yeah, drugs. You got found with an amount on you, then we're going to charge you with selling some of it too. And it's like the bum that had the needles, and no, it was my 1 gram for the next couple days. And they're like, nope, you were selling it, and they slam them people up. And, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. This is where people are divided. I mean, I listen to the people like her, Flynn.
Like your poster.
You think justice? Yeah, no, that's.
We need to put that in a frame.
Oh, I know. That's why it's sitting back there. Yeah. And I just remembered it, and I had brought it finally up into here, and I do need to order a frame. Unless anyone's got a typical poster board frame. I think that's probably typical. We'll see.
We need to get your studio built.
Military tribunals. Hey. Truth is truth, folks, and you heard it from her mouth. I'll just, again, suggest check that out in full. We're going to go ahead and shut this one down. We are just at an hour as I click in there. Again, last night, Respected again jumped up. They went to upgraded in membership. Debbie Ross, Respected again, 72, jumped to tier 2. Debbie Ross, welcome to tier 1. EO2 Dave, my wife left the Philippines to work for Nygaard. She had to flee his advances, and he tried to get her deported, and she took him to court and won. Wow.
All right. Fantastic.
Dave, good to hear.
No
and
kidding.
Mike Q, thank you. Again, got about 1,100 in the room. Thanks for joining in on this Tuesday.
Tuesday morning, yep.
Tuesday afternoon.
March 17th, yeah. March 17th. We're used to saying good morning. I'm sorry, man, everybody.
Woodman's
It
that.
is the 17th. Yeah.
Whatever. I might be definitely working on another video. I've got something else in the works. As far as live, maybe definitely tomorrow. Hopefully mid-morning, early morning. I'll say it again. Mid-morning, early morning, for sure. Should be less of issues. I mean, people are lives are at distress. Kind of. I mean, you should be fine if you're stuck at home with the family. Enjoy it. I mean, if you're stressing over some of the other issues, I understand that as well. So, Gary Thanos, where can I watch the full length? Down below in the description box. It's on YouTube. You can actually just search. If you just search Sidney Powell, it'll come up. And you look for the one that's from 3 days ago. It's from 3 days ago, over the weekend, I believe. So other than that, if you want to get really quickly there and not have to search, go down below in the description box at the very end of all the other talkings and everything I got in there. After the hashtag that you'll see, right under that, I put S Powell video right here. And then click that link and it'll take you right over. So I did that for you guys already to make it easy. And, we'll go from there. Anything that pops off heavy or big, I'll come back immediately and report on that. I'll call Woodman, see if he's ready to jump in. Ben actually told me today he's finishing up on the last few things on his machine, and he'll be joining possibly tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe later tonight. I don't know what his schedule is, but he's got to work out a few things as well on his machine yet. So that's on him. He's been not around. I don't think he's been here for a month plus. He's been down and doing what he's got to get done. And same with Scott. Scott's been super busy. He just chimed in yesterday. So again, that was great to see Scott down in the old Alamo. And that looked busy and great down there. So
I was surprised. Yeah.
Beaches in Florida are packed. They said people are swimming and just living. So.
All right.
We'll see.
They're young.
Watch that video with the names on it, folks. The list so far that I compiled, and it'll be, I think I'm at 59. I think I already got a few more to add. People let me know. I looked into them. Like, well, yep, you're right. I know I missed a few Hollywood actors or actresses or politicians. I'm going to keep adding to it. So I got an ongoing list, and that'll be something we do here together. Follow the infected stars.
Definitely watch it. Definitely watch it. Yeah, really.
It's a video out before this one, the actual video, not a live stream. So, all right, you guys, we appreciate it. Thank you all for being here. God bless each and every one of you as your day goes on, and enjoy your late afternoon into your early evening out here on the East Coast anyway. Everyone else, we'll see you here on the next show. Woodman Brother.
Airborne, pray, pray, pray. Keep God on your side.
Yep. Say a little prayer for Woodman and his loss of 2 years anniversary. It's always hard for people. And God bless you, Woodman. And I love you, brother. And we'll see you back here real soon.
Thank you.